So for this video, I'm going to do things just a little bit differently compared to normal, as I don't really know much about the Championship clubs, only a few tiny things here and there. And when it comes to Championship clubs taking on Super League clubs, I'll get through my predictions fairly quickly, and I may give a few notes if there are two Super League clubs playing against each other. And then I'm going to do something a little bit different at the very end, something that I've not done before on this channel. Hopefully something a little bit fun as well, and we'll see how that goes. Let's crack on with the predictions of this week. First up, we have the Hull Kingston Rovers taking on Oldham Rugby League Football Club. Now, all I really know about Oldham at the moment is that they've recruited pretty well. I know Riley Dean plays for them at the moment. Same with Kieran Dixon. Josh Drinkwater is one of the major signings as well. And there's a few other major signings and players with decent Super League experience. Now, at the moment, I think Hull Kingston Rovers have turned their fortunes around. I don't think they'll be under much pressure this week. I think they might concede points. I think Sean Long can get a tune out of that team this week and put up maybe one or two tries, but overall Hull Kingston Rovers won't really be challenged. If there are any Championship regular viewers that know a bit more about Oldham and think they could put up a challenge for the Robins, do let me know in the comments down below. But for this prediction, I'm going to go with Hull Kingston Rovers 46, Oldham 10. Next up, we have the Salford Red Devils taking on the Bradford Bulls. Now, this could be quite an interesting one for a couple of reasons. Number one, Salford Red Devils notoriously mess up my predictions massively. They were nice enough to lose last week when I predicted them to lose, so that was very gracious of them. I do really appreciate that, Salford. It is very kind of you. Thank you. But the Bradford Bulls, they're in a position now as a club where they're really, really making progress to become a Super League club through the IMG grading system. Is that squad going to be strong enough to really push Salford? I think in parts, maybe. If preparation is a bit of a concern again this week for Salford, they may have some lapses defensively and still look kind of clunky and disconnected in possession. I think Bradford will pose challenges over the 80 minutes, maybe won't come close enough to really push Salford and scare them, but I think they'll have their moments and Salford will just have enough individual quality throughout that squad to maintain control and just find too many gaps in Bradford's defence and just be strong enough to get a win. So I'm going to go with Salford Red Devils 28, Bradford Bulls 14. Next up, we have St Helens taking on Leeds Rhinos. Now, I'll give a few more comments in this one. St Helens were a little bit sluggish and a little bit basic, a bit one-dimensional against Hull Kingston Rovers. I mentioned in my Power Rankings video that I didn't like that they just sort of went to a default style of rugby league towards the back end of the game when they were chasing the game, being 10, 14 points down or something towards the last quarter. Leeds Rhinos, they did have a dip against Catalans, putting up 0 points, only conceding 11 though. Now the thing is, I am trusting St Helens based on what I've seen from them so far this season, not really including the Salford game in that for round 1. Leeds Rhinos, I think there is a decent defensive side in there, and it might just take a little bit more time for them to be more comfortable on the attacking side of things. But St Helens right now, they've shown that they can control games for the most part. They're solid defensively. They beat teams up through the middle as well. And I think in terms of squad comparisons, St Helens should be fine in this one. So I'm going to go with St Helens 26, Leeds Rhinos 12. Next up, we have the Catalans Dragons taking on Featherstone Rovers. Now, I don't believe Featherstone will be posing much of a threat on the attacking side. I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt and say they'll get points against the Catalans Dragons, but as much as the Dragons haven't looked particularly great in Super League, the difference in speed and especially size is going to be a massive factor for one. The only reason why I think this might not be a complete and utter bloodbath is the fact that they will rest some of the regulars. Part of me thinks they might want to use a good handful of regulars to give them more reps with some actual game time, maybe get the fitness levels up of some players that they need to sort of work their way back into the squad. But the Catalans Dragons, just full of quality all over. And again, as much as they've been a little bit sluggish, a little bit, not great in Super League, they will be completely fine in this one. So I'm going to go with Catalans Dragons 38, Featherstone Rovers 6. Next up, we have the Widnes Vikings taking on Warrington Wolves. So we've already seen this matchup in pre-season. Widnes did beat Warrington. I was at that game. And Warrington, of course, played a lot of kids. I'm assuming there was a lot of regulars for Widnes, and they actually played quite well. The way they spread the ball, they were well connected, and we had some fairly big defensive lapses. Now, one of the issues with Warrington this year has been missed tackles, another has been offloads allowed constantly, and another has been losing in the middles. I think if Warrington still perform like that, that opens the door slightly for an upset in this one, because if Widnes have a lot of elusive players, and anyone that watches the Championship on a regular basis can let me know if they do or don't, but if they do have those players that can really do damage in the second phases from offloads, and constantly make Warrington miss tackles again, then they could put a bit of pressure on Wire this week and make it a bit of an embarrassing scoreline. I think Warrington should still be fine for the win here. Again, like with Catalans and Salford, based on an individual level, over 80 minutes, that will be enough, but the score might be a lot closer than I would like it to be. But yeah, I'm going to give Widnes a good handful of points here, but still hope that Warrington, maybe with Leon Hayes back this week, I don't know, either this week or next week, maybe he can steady the ship and at least make us look a little bit more comfortable with some more organisation and a decent kicking game. But I'm going to go with Widnes Vikings 18, Warrington Wolves 32. Next up, we have the Wigan Warriors taking on Hull FC. I was very impressed with Hull FC's effort and their energy against the Leigh Leopards last week in Super League. They have some decent moments in their game. I also mentioned in the Power Rankings video that they've got sparks in attack and defence. They just need to start putting complete performances together. Now, Wigan weren't great in the first half against Huddersfield, but really switched it on in the second. Dominated against Warrington and Vegas. Dominated against Hull FC as well in round 2. So I'm pretty confident with Wigan winning this one. I don't know how many players are going to be rested on either side. Maybe it might just be 2, 3 or 4 here and there. They might just go with full squads, maybe. I think Wigan would be in a position to rest more than Hull FC. Eckersley could get some game time. Maybe Jack Farrimond, maybe Ryan Hampshire, would have to kind of see on that one. But Hull FC, I think they'll have a full squad available, or close to full squad, forgetting injuries. But I don't think they'll rest anybody for this game. They may put up more points than they did last time, which was only 6. And maybe we'll restrict Wigan to less points as well. At least they could take a lot of confidence out of their effort against Leigh. And maybe, who knows, Wigan might have a slow start again. But I do think Wigan should be fine in this one, even if they do use a few of the younger lads in Eckersley, Farrimond, and maybe bring in Hampshire in as well, just to drop 1 or 2 players in the spine, or give them a rest. But I'm going to go with Wigan Warriors 30, Hull FC 12. Next up, we have the Huddersfield Giants taking on Wakefield Trinity. Huddersfield Giants are a little bit like Hull FC, as I also mentioned this in my Power Rankings video. They have sparks in attack and defence, but as an all-round unit, they're just not really there. They're not putting complete performances together, whereas Wakefield Trinity have come into Super League and have really shown a lot of grit, a lot of fight, and a lot of determination to compete through the middle. And against Huddersfield Giants, that would be quite difficult to do, because I do quite like Huddersfield in the middle at the moment. The forward pack is quite good, but that's probably their best asset. And if they can at least sustain the pressure through the middle, and I'm talking about Wakefield Trinity there, I think defensively, their scramble defence is good enough to shut down what Huddersfield will try and do. The kicking game, the kick chase, is all good enough that I think they'll keep Huddersfield away from their red zone on, plenty of occasions. If they do get into the red zone, I can see Tui Lolohea. If he is actually fit this week, I've not really seen, unfortunately. Sorry about that. But if he is available, he could create some opportunities, because he is pretty good off the cuff with the heads-up plays. But yeah, I think Wakefield, based on what they've shown so far, should be okay in this one. It could be close. I do think Huddersfield, they've got it in them to grind out performances. But Wakefield right now, they've shown enough quality. So I'm going to go with Huddersfield Giants 16, Wakefield Trinity 22. Finally for this week, we have the Leigh Leopards taking on Batley Bulldogs. I think Leigh Leopards will be a little bit disappointed with their efforts against Hull FC, a period where they were up by 2 men and didn't really do enough damage and just weren't clean enough in possession. A little bit of ill discipline kind of scuppered their chances. There's a few refereeing moments, but in terms of performance, Leigh were a little bit off it. In possession, it was pretty solid again. It was good to see Lachlan Lamb leading the charge and David Armstrong continue to progress on an individual level and connect more with Loch and Lamb. That'll be something I'm excited to see as the season goes on. But Batley, not too sure if they will even get points, just with Leigh Leopards being so strong defensively and being really exciting in attack. In terms of depth, I don't think Leigh have too many options to replace some of the regulars. I'm not too sure what their overall depth is like, so we could be seeing a really strong Leigh squad and therefore a solid result. So I'm going to go with Leigh Leopards 40, Batley 0. It's now time to bring you something different to the Kinetic Rugby League channel. I present to you Challenge Cup Bingo. That's right, I'm going to give you 12 scenarios. Now the top 4 will be 4 unique scenarios that could happen this weekend in round 4 of the Challenge Cup. In the row below, each box will be tied specifically to the box above. And in the bottom row, there will be 4 unique scenarios once again. So let's go through the boxes, see what I've gone with, and we'll see how it works out this weekend, shall we? In the first box, because I've predicted Salford to win, I'm going to go with Bradford Bulls to win. Might as well cover all bases, so we'll see how that goes. But the specific link and more specific prediction is Bradford win by a drop goal, whether that be in the first 80 or whether it be in Golden Point. Bradford wins by a drop goal. The next one is that there is an intercepted try. That's a little bit generic, but to get more specific, it's scored by a non-Super League club. I could have just put Championship, but unfortunately the word Championship doesn't really fit inside the box, so yeah, non-Super League. It's scored by a Championship club. The next scenario is that there is a try scored from a blatant forward pass. Like, it is completely obvious you could not miss it. But the specific detail is that it's Jake Wardle to Liam Marshall for Wigan. There's been a few too many of those over the years, so I'm thinking they could do me a favour and tick off some boxes in the bingo for me. And the final one, the Warrington Wolves legend, Dec Patton, gets a try or assist versus his old club in the Challenge Cup this weekend. And the extension from that is it's for the first try of the game. Dec Patton will be involved in the first try of the game for Widnes versus Warrington. And to close it out with 4 unique predictions, number 1 is that a conversion hits the post. Number 2, a team recovers the ball from their own dropout. Number 3, a team kicks the ball out on the full. And number 4, a winger or fullback knocks on from a bomb. Now those last 4 are slightly more likely to happen, but I do need to give myself at least a slim chance here and there. If I can get any on the middle row, I'll be extremely happy. If I can get 1 or 2 on the top row, I'll be quite pleased with that. Just not the one on the top right, because yeah, I don't want Dec Patton to be showing Warrington up this weekend. If you don't mind, Declan, that'd be splendid. But yeah, let's see how we get on with the bingo this weekend. Thought I'd do something a little bit different. But yeah, there you have it. But if you guys have your own predictions, do let me know in the comments down below. And don't forget to answer the Rugby League fan question that I've pinned in the comments. Also check out the Kinetic Rugby League website and the Kinetic store, both linked in the description below this video as well. But if you enjoyed this video, feel free to leave a like. It does help to get it out there to more people. And subscribe to stay up to date with more Rugby League content. But that's going to be it. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.